Evening, everybody. Welcome here as we are here for the first race of the Race of Champions modified series here at the Bullring. We pop in a little bit late, had some technical difficulties with our recording software, but Seth Cole here alongside of Matthew Rodriguez as we get ready to, continue on this race. We're 14 laps in at the Bullring.
Absolutely. Looks like a good race already.
We are currently under our first caution of this race. We had apparently 32 drivers that attempted to qualify. Only the top 24 got into this field right now. Out in front, leading this race, is the 37 of Tahan Denk. And I believe we're going to be getting ready to go green here in just a minute. He's got Josh Walker to his outside, Cody Tripp, Tyler Foti, and Tommy Kramerborg is the top 5. 80 laps here. This track is 0.375 miles in length, so it literally is the size of a bull ring, so I can see why they named it that as we're back underway.
There's sights to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. As you see the man with the two of Josh Walker back in.
Doesn't take them very long to turn lap times here either. Pretty much an average of about a 13.6 to a 14.0. So they take these laps away very quickly. Only 80 laps in total here tonight, and I'm actually quite surprised that despite our technical difficulties, we got in. I thought they were probably going to be around halfway already done, but we are tuning in just before the quarter of the way mark. Battle right now appears to be for that second position. That's where Cody Tripp is trying to hold off Josh Walker, as right now 37 has checked out.
Yes, you see the 37 definitely has checked out now. Here comes the big factor, 80 laps in this race. Do you think tires are even going to be a factor?
To be honest, I wasn't able to find a whole lot of information about Bullring. I try and find out, as much as I can about the track that we're going to. But this doesn't have a whole lot of banking, and the fact that it's such a small racetrack, I don't really think tire wear is going to come into play as much as we would see it at other tracks. Whoa, there's a car slow there on the bottom of the racetracks they're all trying to avoid, and we have a caution.
Caution's out.
I don't know if maybe that slow car was the reason for the... Oh, no, there's a car right there on the front straightaway out of turn 4, facing the wrong way.
Well, that may be the reason for your caution.
I think definitely, and the leaders were catching up to that car. Not certain who that was.
Almost the problem with the Bullring is same as South Boston and all of those other tracks. They're so small, so when little mistakes happen, it can collect the leader.
Even when those mistakes happen, there's not a whole lot of time to be able to avoid them. Over room as Josh Walker's coming to pit road. He was scored the leader, but I think that's just because I think the pit road speed might be either equal or maybe a little bit faster than the pacing speed.
I'd say just probably
find out faster. What exactly happened here. And apparently, I think might have been the 22 car that was facing the wrong way. See if we can find out who it was.
Because definitely there was someone behind that kicked all this off, but there also was that lap car to the inside.
There were a couple cars that were down there on the apron. I don't know if they were just getting out of the way of the leaders or what they were doing, but
I was thinking
not exactly a.
You just can't get out of the way of the leaders fast enough.
Oh, you really can't. I mean, there's a lot of And apparently I'm having some issues with Discord. Great.
You're having some slight, more technical difficulty.
Yep. I couldn't find out who that caution was for. They went by him too fast.
Currently on lap 30 of the 80.
Right now, they have, out of the 24 that took the green flag, they've got currently, it looks like, 18 of them on the lead lap. Josh Walker, the 2 car, was actually up inside the top 5 when we broke in with the broadcast. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if maybe he was the reason for the caution, because he's now 2 laps down.
It could have been, but also, I don't know if he pitted and changed tires, because on the modified, changing these tires takes about a good 20-40 seconds, and heck, pit under green flag, you'll lose a few.
Yeah, definitely. I think the pacing speed, based on what I'm seeing these drivers run, is I think between 35 to 40 miles per hour. So yeah, it's not going to take them a whole lot of time to get around the racetrack under pacing. And to your point, being as small as it is, very easy to lose laps, even under caution here at Bullring. We're doubling up. We're getting ready to go back green. It's going to be Tahan Denk still on the point. He's controlling the restarts there on that inside line. Cody Tripp is to his outside. Tyler Fawty in 3rd. Ryan Gavel now up to 4th. Evan Nugent in 5th. And the 37 checks out yet again.
It's right back to green here. Man, it just seems like that leader has such an advantage on that start, just being able to pick that low lane.
It does, but it looks like this time he didn't get away from Cody Tripp. Tripp hung with him pretty well. He's only about maybe 2 car lengths back, as we got a car down on the bottom of the track there. That is the 9.
No caution yet. They're still racing. Don't know.
Patrick Hoosier, that bright red number 9 machine. I don't know if he spun out or if he was trying to get to pit road, and now the caution is out.
Yeah, it looks like he's parked it up. Looks like that's a 27. Oh, there's back to 9.
Our ticker didn't pick up that yellow either, which is surprising. And there's that 9 car that we were talking about.
That 9 car looks like he's...
There we go. Now,
wonder what exactly happened there.
there was a car that the leader at least caught up to really quickly when he was catching the pace car. And I'm wondering if it might be somebody that was on the tail end of the lead lap, perhaps. Maybe like the 27 of Joseph Clark, 12 of Joey Banfield, possibly.
Just trying to rush up the field that quickly. And in place of the Bullring, there's just nowhere to go. Oh, it looks like there's
a wreck under pacing. Yeah. Someone was spun around there, and the leader nearly was caught up in that.
Wouldn't mind going look back at that. What in the world even happened there?
I don't have any idea. It was a yellow machine. I'm not certain who that was. Go back and see if we can find out who exactly that was and what happened there. That was off of turn 4, I do believe.
Yeah, I do see it was looks like it was the white and yellow car. Unfortunately, I don't have most of these paint schemes memorized.
This, I believe, was the yellow car that was involved, and we're currently looking at the 32. Him here. Oh, he just loops it around, and then he collects the 27. Yeah.
It looks like he just throttled it up a little bit too much and just got it loose.
And then he collects the 27 along with him of Joseph Clark. That's the 32 of... I'm sorry, is that the 32 car?
Yes, it
might actually be... It was the 32. Okay, yeah. So that
Because the
was
32 was the yellow and
kind of
orange
peculiar.
car.
And all right, so that would have been the 32 of Dean. See if I can even pronounce that name correctly. Ripe Kenna?
Yes, unfortunately, he's
It's the
not on the
closest I'm going to
entry.
get to probably pronouncing
Unfortunately,
it correctly.
he's not on the entry list that we have listed here.
He isn't. No.
In a late entry.
Makes it a little bit more difficult for us to try and get the correct pronunciation. We're halfway through now. And we saw before that Cody Tripp did a pretty good job of keeping Tahan Dank at least within striking distance. But this is one thing I was kind of wondering coming in. You put even 24 cars on a racetrack less than half a mile. It's really, really difficult, especially if you're in the middle of the pack towards the rear of the field, to be patient in working your way up through the field because there's not a whole lot of time. 80 laps may seem like a long time, but at this track, it goes by pretty quickly.
I'd definitely say to watch that 40 Tyler Fody. He's been one of the front runners in the Sim Racers Mental Health Cup Series. Wouldn't be a surprise to see him strike here tonight.
Lights go out atop the pace car, getting ready to go back green. Give you your top 10 at this point here. You got Tahan Dank, the leader, Cody Tripp in second, Tyler Fody, as you mentioned there, in third, Ryan Gavel currently in fourth, Evan Nugent completes at top 5. And then you find the rest of the top 10 completed by Riley O'Keefe, David Bachman, Scott Rickard, Jeffrey Marble, and Zach Skotnicki as green flag back out.
See them back underway here. Take another commanding lead back out. Looks like the 21. Both the 21 and the 40 are looking out there for.
And I believe with that caution, I think the 74 of Rick Thompson Jr. got back in the lead lap. And yeah, 5th caution.
Definitely short
Just
track.
past the halfway point.
Cautions.
And I think when we get closer towards the end of the race, we're going to see even more as well. I mean, they've been pretty frequent here. We've had 5 of them in the first 45 laps, but when it gets down to crunch time, I think even up towards the front of the field, you're going to see drivers making moves that possibly could lead to wrecks.
I mean,
at least this time it didn't happen in front of the race leader.
It's a 10-race series. They're trying. I admit, I probably, if I was sitting back in 10th, I'd be trying to make my moves right now.
And according to what I'm looking at here, it doesn't look like fun to bring out that caution. So I'm not rightly sure why that yellow was thrown.
It might have been an administration call.
That's what my thought probably is, yeah. So this is actually, as you just saw, going to put, I believe that was the 15 possibly going by of Kenny Zeems getting his lap back. It might have been Charles Buchanan getting his lap back. And at this point, I think that, the question you brought up about, would these drivers be thinking about tires? These restarts are giving them a good chance under pacing to be able to cool the tires back down. So with running under pacing, it's not wearing nearly as much. The tires cool down, and they're able to then, conserve what tires they have. The only thing I would wonder about, and you can see it clearly if you look up there on the top of the screen as they're coming through the corner, they're laying down an awful lot of rubber in that lower to middle groove. And when the caution comes out and they start running under pacing, as the tires cool down, it starts to pick up that rubber. And I would wonder if that's going to cause drivers issues not having the grip they would expect going into turn 1 on restarts.
I'd almost say a good comparison to this track is the Raceway, how it has the aprons that you can pretty much just cut half the corner through. I mean, you're looking for any and all advantages trying to get just a faster lap.
Also been looking here under these short runs we've had to see if anyone's willing to jump up there to the second lane, try and produce some speed up there, get some straightaway speed off of 2 or 4. Nobody really seems to be wanting to do that as the green flag is back out, and we are going to be at 30 laps to go next time by. Boy, the 21 got a good restart. He's all over the back bumper.
I'm got to take advantage of that. Good. Oh, and another caution comes out.
Caution's out. I saw someone way up the track back there around 7th, 8th position. They nearly wrecked for 3rd.
Cody Tripp definitely saw that coming. He was just trying to get to the lead.
That's the problem right now for Cody Tripp is the last couple of restarts, he has been really good of keeping Tehen Dank within striking distance, but these cautions come out, kill his momentum, kill his opportunity to set the 37 car up for a pass.
I'm going to tell you, definitely the 37's loving all of these cautions. He's going to want to run all of them under caution.
Oh, absolutely. That's why a lot of drivers, when they come to these short tracks, it's all about track position, because you not only control the restarts, you're also out front, have an opportunity to be out of all the mess that takes place behind you, and if you get a lot of cautions, like the 37's been able to get, you don't have to defend that race lead very often. All these cautions are putting a lot of guys back on the lead lap, too, I just noticed. So this is good news for some of those guys that were trapped either 1 or 2 laps down early on. I believe caution came out for...
I believe it was the 44
It was, I think it was the 15 of Kenny Zames, if I'm not mistaken. You can see here if it was. I think he had either just gotten back on the lead lap or he was in line to get the lucky dog.
I'd say definitely. I believe it's a 44
No, I guess
car.
not. Who was it?
I believe it was the 44 car.
Look and see here.
That is the 48.
You're cutting out, so I'm not hearing who you're saying it is.
Oh, my apologies. That would be the 44.
Don't cut out.
Oh, sorry. No, it was right in front of the 44.
I'm gonna let you click on who it is because I'm not hearing the number you're saying. You keep cutting out. At 44. Okay. If we can find out what happened to him, and I see him going up the track. I don't see him spinning out. Runs into the back of somebody ahead of him. But I don't think that was what brought the caution out.
Yeah, just a 2-car incident.
Well, we'll head back to live.
Now, Sim Racers for Mental Health, at least the Cup Series, does have a pretty cool rule where if you are a lap down or multiple laps down, you will get waved around the pace car until you are 1 lap down, and once you're 1 lap down, you have to earn it back. Just an interesting way to keep these guys in the race after, let's say, a little bit of hardship or they have to stop for an unscheduled pit.
It is very interesting rule there, as looks like Patrick Hoosier is going to go around and get one of his laps back here. This will actually put him back on the lead lap. And we will probably get a restart with less than 20 laps to go.
See, lots of pace car are still on.
Yeah, right now I think the main source of competition for the race leader is going to be that 21 car. It just is a matter of 2 things. Number 1, if he can continue to get the good restarts he's been able to, keep the 37 within striking distance, and 2, stop having all of these cautions.
I will admit, I have to say a very interesting part is going to be if the 21 actually puts the bumper to the 37, because that's right now it looks like the only way he's going to be able to get around him. Just move him out of the way.
It is a short track, and a lot of times at short tracks, that's how you got to make passes. You got to be willing to use the chrome horn. So that could be the case. It looks like Denk has been very satisfied to hug right down at the bottom of the racetrack. Had 2 tires down on those rumble strips at times, not allowing anybody to get a nose underneath him. So if the 21 gets to him, he's got pretty much, it looks like, one of 2 choices. As you mentioned, either move him out of the way or maybe try and make that outside line work. It's like we're getting ready to go back. Green lights are out atop the pace car, and we will be restarting with a total of 19 laps to go.
See him pulling right upside. I think he's going to try to match him on this restart.
Very smart to do so, no doubt about that.
Nope, spun the tires just a little bit. 37 gets a good Tyler Fode on the bottom.
We have a battle for second. Ooh, into the wall goes the 21. Tried a little too hard through that corner. And Tripp now might lose second place to Fode.
Still battling for second. Look at some of these guys in the back who haven't had very much time to shine. They're actually starting to have some time to make some moves.
Evan Nugent just moved into 4th place. He's now making this a 3-car fight. Ryan Gavel right behind it. Oh, the race leader just caught some traffic.
Someone went way high there.
The 9 machine. That might have been, I think that was the 9. No, it wasn't the 9. It went around somebody there. I don't know who it was, but it was a slower machine, and he nearly caught the through. Oh, the 40's around!
Everyone looks like he
spun off the nose up. I think that was Evan Nugent. And there's another car around there as well. That's the 30.
I saw the 77 of Ryan Gavel in that. Looks like he may have pushed up the track a little bit and knocked the 40. Have to double check, though.
They were almost 3 wide for the 3rd position. And that definitely brings out a caution. And with less than 20 to go, like I said, you're going to start to see them force the issue even up towards the front of the field, and we just saw the culmination of that. We'll go back and see what happened here to Tyler Fode, who was up around the top 5. He's now back in the 12th position.
Definitely looked like, I believe it was the 77 that pushed up the track a little bit. Looks like he may have been trying to just get way too much and just wasn't enough.
Look here at what happened, how this all culminated. It's
88 wants him starting moving.
21, the 40, ooh. Away. Way low. Oh, the 40 might have brushed the wall a little bit there, which slowed his momentum, and there you see it.
It's just 77, just tried a little bit too hard and just got into him just a little.
Many different braking zones here at short tracks. There were a couple other cars that spun out as well, got collected up in the aftermath, but obviously that's a tough break for the 40 of Tyler Fode, who was up inside of the top 5, and now, I don't know, we're at a total of 13 laps to go at this point. I don't see how he can work his way back up, even into the top 5, really, from the 11th position.
Tough break for him all around.
Here he is right now in 11th place behind David Bachman.
I mean, with this being a short track,
now,
probably will be a few disagreements after the race of how few things.
Probably will. Ryan Gavel, the one that made the contact with Fode, right now in the 4th position, but now new competition up here at the front for Tahan Denk. You've got Evan Nugent, who will now be to his outside, and Cody Tripp, who for the last couple restarts had to start on the outside of the front row. He's going to be lined up right on the back bumper of the 37, so you got to think this is a much better position for him on the restart.
I also want to bet that Cody's going to be right on the back of the 37.
Got them all nose to tail, all bunched up here, getting ready to go back green, and boy, the 37 was on it again.
Gets that great restart, but look at Cody Tripp on the bottom.
A yellow car of Ryan Gavel to the inside for third on Nugent, and right behind them, oh, caution's out again.
Definitely the 77 is sending it.
About to be a good battle there between Nugent and Kraneborg. In the 88, yellow flag's out again. We're going to get a restart with less than 10 laps to go. If my calculations are correct, based on the pace laps we've had, we will be going back green probably with 6 laps remaining.
I believe this probably will be extended for a green light checkered if I'm... I think they may have either 3 attempts at it or unlimited attempts.
Well, with the caution coming out, the 40 of Tyler Foddy was able to work his way from 11th up to 8th, so maybe he can work his way back up here into the top 5 with the aid of these yellow flags.
I definitely say
this would start him on the outside line, though.
the 77 most likely isn't the most popular person right now, but wow, he has gotten up there and he's got a shot.
Here's the thing, too. We saw his willingness to send it into the corner when he got into the back of the 40 car. He's going to be lining up second on that inside line right behind the 37. So this is going to be a very interesting restart.
Yeah, we're going to see how feelings everyone feels about each other on this restart.
I believe if the scoring is correct, we've only got 11 cars now that are on the lead lap. So really only 11 cars that are in the running for this victory.
Being ran up cars that have been damaged or just lap down cars. That's what we need.
You see 11th place Thompson, I believe, is the last car running on the lead lap. Caution could very well have come out for Charles Buchanan, who has since taken his car back behind the wall. Guy O'Neill might have been involved as well. He's also out of the race. A lot of drivers are still out there just logging laps, even though they are multiple laps down, just trying to pick up positions.
Already on the bumper of 37. Hitting him under caution.
I mean, they know that they have to get as good a restart as the 37 car does. But that 37's been really good at getting through the gears and accelerating. We'll see if he can do it here.
A warning tap. Tap to say, I'm here.
Have 4 to go.
Back to green flag racing here. 37 gets another great job.
Cody Tripp was able to tuck down in line in second and head of the 77. Oh, he's trying it.
Close.
Oh, we got loose. Saved it though, but he nearly lost it off the corner. He'll lose a little ground now to the 37 car.
I think he can still do it if he keeps it on the low side of the track. Looks like the 37 is just arcing a little bit higher than him.
Gavel was right on his back bumper, had to kind of back off a little bit. Now he falls into the clutches of Evan Nugent. Oh boy, the 21 was way up the track trying to drive it in deep.
Gavel is just sending it in the corner.
They got a couple corners left to do it.
Just not enough.
Trying the second groove, not going to be enough. Off turn 4, Tahan Dank is going to win here at the Bullring.
I mean, he played just race management.
Especially there in the closing stages, he had to hold off a hard-charging Cody Tripp.
Another notable
on the last 3 restarts.
Ryan Gavel. He ended up finishing 10th. Looks like he may have wrecked out in that final lap.
Yeah, he did.
Let's go back and see what happened exactly to him. Because I remember seeing him sending it in one corner of it.
He was in, I believe, the 3rd or 4th position there with about 2 to go. See what happened to him. He was in, I believe, the 3rd position. Looked like he was kind of in his own.
And he was trying. He was hunting him down.
He did. He had the 98 of Nugent behind him. Oh, wait. No.
Actually, it looks like it may have been slightly connection issues.
It looks like connection issues. Yeah, the car blinked. He might have blinked across the start finish line and it didn't score him a lap, perhaps. And that's why it had him towards the back, finishing in the 11th position.
Unfortunate. I mean, he had a strong run going, even though actually it looks like the 40 rebounded back to a 7th place finish.
Tyler Foddy jumped back up to 7th. You had David Bachman. I think Bachman was back around 10th a couple of restarts ago. He rebounded up there for a 5th place run. And I don't think we mentioned Jody Banfield's name all night, and he finished in 6th. So a lot of comers and goers here in the final 20 laps of this race.
Here's the thing, it's a 10-race season,
Hoosier.
and every race counts.
Patrick Hoosier, he was a lap down early on, got the free pass, worked his way up to finish in the 8th position. Look at the results here. And I believe we officially had 11 cars finish this race on the lead lap. It's Joseph Clark in the 27, who was one of the drivers involved in that wreck under caution.
Definitely look at Cody Tripp. It was a strong start. Just he could never finish the job. Every time he'd get close to finishing the job, something would happen and it'd just stop.
Yeah, I think if we go back to the last restart, we managed to go green for the final, I think it was 6 laps of the race. And he made one little mistake off of turn 4, got loose, had to gather it back up. And after that, he just couldn't make the ground up. But it looked like 2, 3, 4 restarts before that he had a car that could easily get to the back bumper of the 37 and make a move. He just had all his momentum killed with these caution flags. But that's typical of the short tracks. That's why everybody is gunning for the pole position, or at least to start up towards the front, because we see more often than not, if you can start on the pole, you're more than likely going to lead most of the laps, if not all the laps, and dominate the race. And that's exactly what Tahan Denk was able to do.
Yeah, track positions, these short tracks are just so vital. I mean, even think of the new Cup cars of these aero packages. I mean, they don't mean anything at a short. Looks like
One thing I'm not really sure there was here at the Bullring was a second groove. It's a Tripp try and like move up a little bit higher on the entry and dive it into the corner. It just looked like there was so much grip down there on the bottom that second line, even if it had the same amount of grip, it was the longer way around the racetrack, and there just was no opportunity to make up ground. Plus, a lot of drivers that tried to jump up there were usually brushing the wall off of turn 4.
Unfortunately, just too many cautions unfortunately killed that second line. There just wasn't enough time to run up there and get rubber up. I believe we have the
We've got a couple. Yeah, we got a couple of our podium finishers on standby.
Let's go ahead and bring in Evan Nugent. Oh, I can move people. That's nice. Hello, Evan.
Hello.
Hey, how?
Third place finisher Evan Nugent here with us. And Evan, boy, describe those last couple of restarts, because you were right there in the thick of it.
They got pretty crazy. At one point, I went from 5th to 2nd, and I got moved back down to 5th before the last one. The last one, I went back up to 3rd, but they were pretty crazy. It was a good race, though.
We saw that you were, I believe, 3rd on the second to last restart. 37 obviously was the car controlling the restarts, but was there anything you think you might have been able to do to keep with him?
I'm not sure. I got a bad jump on the second to last restart, and I had the 2 gun underneath me. But I might have had, I don't know, I felt like I might have had something for him if I wouldn't have got a bad jump, but it was so hard because we didn't get a lot of green flag runs to really see who was the fastest around here. 37 did a great job, obviously, but we didn't get a ton of green flag runs to see to actually really race it out.
Matt, you got anything?
Oh, sorry, my apologies. Evan, you got almost bounced. It seems like everyone was bouncing around like pinballs out there. What's your take on this?
Well, right at the end, I don't know what happened to the 77. He blinked out
for him.
Yeah. Oh. I don't know what happened. He was above me, and then I saw him blink out, and then it looked like he was in the wall, and then he's just gone. But yeah, I don't know how it was in the back, but up front it was a lot of good racing. Like people were giving the bumpers, but no one really got turned besides behind me one time. But besides that, I mean, it was a bunch of good short track racing.
Definitely those last
I
few
know
laps.
that, like you said, we didn't get a lot of opportunity to be able to be like under a long green flag run, but at a small track like this, how do you set up a car for a pass?
Well, I mean, the most popular way, or probably maybe least popular way, is to use the bumper. But
Right.
sometimes you just gotta enter a little higher and try to drive off and get a better drive off them. But a lot of the times, especially these bull rings, I mean, this is literally called the bull ring. A lot of the times, the only way to get a pass is to move them out of the groove.
And Seth, you got any more questions?
Well, we'll give you the opportunity here with your third place run to take the opportunity to give a shout out and thanks to whoever you want to. So go right ahead.
Not really sure. I guess I'll give a shout out to my dad. I guess he was watching it. And the paint scheme I was running is actually my cousin's modified that he runs up in New York. So yeah, I'll give a shout out to him too.
All the paint schemes in this field
All
look
right, well-
awesome.
Go ahead, Matt.
Oh no, sorry, that's all I had.
I was gonna say Matt wasn't even aware of this, but when I was looking at the drivers list coming into this, little smile came across my face because you don't know this, Matt, but this guy signed up in 2012 for an offline series that I had for Enter 2003, so that's going way back.
That's crazy.
But, congrats on your third place run, and hopefully you can carry this momentum into next week.
Thank you.
All right, now that I've banished him out, let me go ahead and bring in second place finisher Cody Tripp.
All right, we got second place finisher Cody Tripp here with us, and Cody, man, looked like you were able to hang with the 37 on those restarts, but your momentum kept getting killed with the caution flags. Did you have anything for him?
I definitely think he was probably the fastest car. My only chance was in the first 5 laps, just because he was getting a good drive off, and I didn't think I had the track perfectly down. So my only chance was to time a restart and get under him, and I couldn't do
I
it.
don't know if it's on my end, but your things lighting up, but there's no sound coming through.
I believe it might be on your end because I can hear him perfectly. But definitely, Cody, as we were watching, it looks like you caught the wall just a few times.
Yeah, there was one time a lapper got in my way, and then right after that, I got a little loose coming out, and I just kept my foot in it, and I just nicked the wall, and I got dropped all the way back to 5th, and I barely missed that wreck when Fody got turned. I barely missed it. So I luckily got through that and got the bottom lane restart again.
Yeah, I was going to mention, were you afraid of getting taken out from behind by one of these cars? Because that's how a majority of these wrecks happen tonight, which is just someone got flat ran over.
Oh man, with 2 to go, I didn't think I was gonna be able to reach the 37, so I was kind of just keeping my line steady, and I almost got destroyed by Gavel in the last turn, and then he got past eventually. But it's tough. You're driving out in front of you, but you also got to watch behind you because guys are gonna send it in on you at this track.
A couple of times you were like right behind him on restarts. Was there ever a thought in your mind of trying to move him out of the way?
One time I bumped him, wasn't on purpose, but not really. The only time where it's fair game was when it was inside 10 to go, inside 5 to go, but the only time I could have bumped him was right at the last restart, and I also had pressure behind me, so I didn't want to mess up my finish by trying to move the leader.
Not sure if you saw this, but on the it looked like either one of the last few restarts, Ryan was right on the back bumper of the 37. I think he's hitting him the entire back straightaway.
Ryan was not shy,
Yeah,
but he was fast.
He was not afraid to use that bumper.
Yeah, he scared me a couple times when I was in front of him, and then on the last turn it was really close. He probably would have taken me out if I didn't gas it up a little bit. But he was fast. I think he just got a little impatient. I mean, not his fault. We couldn't go green.
Yeah, just just a series of unfortunate instances. Because I said had you picked to win this race, just every time that you get side by side, a caution would come out and kill the momentum.
Yeah, I think it was lap 60 restart. I had timed it perfectly. I got him on the outside, and right when we got into 3 and 4, the yellow came out, and I had pinched him down just enough.
Well, regardless, still second place run, great run for you. We want to give you the opportunity here to be able to do any shout outs that you want to.
Yeah, I'll shout out Race of Champions and you guys on a good stream tonight. And every time I get the chance to speak, I thank Billy Kruska for coming in, being the admin. He does a good job. He puts on series for us to race, and he gives us a platform, so I want to thank him every time I do this.
Absolutely. And our apologies for showing up just a little bit late, but yeah, we're still here.
I had a little watch party for you guys. Yeah, next time, though.
but thanks for sticking with us. Let me go ahead and now place you back down in the waiting room here as we pull in the first place finisher. Oh, I just booted him out when he was mid-speak.
You just cut him off. How dare you? Such a rude broadcaster.
Sorry, I'm rude. Alrighty, now we're going to go ahead and bring in first place finisher, Taihan Dank. I believe that's how you say his name. My apologies.
I believe so, yeah. So Taihan, man, I mean, I've always wanted to ask this to somebody. I've seen, short track races all the time. People start up towards the front, start in the pole. It looks like they're out there just out for a little cruise, but somehow in the back of my mind, I'm thinking that can't be possible. What goes on in the mind of a person that's able to time the restarts, control the restarts, be out in front? What are you constantly thinking?
I made sure with the Bullring at least to practice those qualifying runs to make sure that I started up front, and then from there just keep practicing those starts and just make sure you could time it right, but then not time it each spot every time so then everyone knows where you're going. So it just took some practice to getting that part of it right, and just getting a good jump on the field, get a good run into that first turn, and then just go from there.
This is one of the few tracks that I noticed where, even being out in the lead, you weren't necessarily safe because you'd end up having a caution coming out, and while you were trying to catch the pace car, there were cars that were stopped in front of you, whether they be out of the corner or down on the apron or something like that. So, I mean, that's got to keep you on your toes as well.
Yeah, I know there was a one wreck early in the race on a caution. I forget which car it was, but they went around right in front of us. I think it might have been the second caution of the race, and then a little bit later in the race, there was someone taking a lucky dog that cut it really close with. Should have run into them, but somehow we missed it.
Now I've got to ask you a question. Were you ever concerned about the 77? Just when it looked like to us, he was on your back bumper an entire straightaway, just hitting you under caution. Were you just a little bit concerned?
I saw it. Didn't think much of it. Just made sure that I just kept running just the way I was going the entire race. Just not thinking about it.
Now, I've also got to ask, how were tires at the end of that run? I mean, of course, there's a lot of laps under pacing, but I just didn't know if tires would be somewhat burnt up from all these restarts.
They were good. Towards the end of it, started to get a little bit slick, getting off the corners, just kind of running a bunch of laps and then cooling off for each of those cautions. Towards the end of it, started to get a little bit slick at the end, but going into this race, my game plan was to not take any tires at all, just make sure that I stay up front the whole time and not get mixed up with anything in the back, so that still definitely paid off at the end.
Probably the number of cautions too, with being able to just run under pacing rather than wear them down, probably helped as well. You had a lot of different competitors up there. You had the 21, you had the 77, you had the 98. We were trying to notice what was a way to maybe make passes, and it didn't look like the outside line really had the grip necessary. So it kind of seemed like if you're going to make a pass, you had to move someone out of the way. Well, you were the guy that everybody was going to probably try and move out of the way. How would you prepare for something like that? I mean, is there a way that as the race leader, you're able to prepare for that bump and still keep the race lead?
I thought about it towards the end of it. I know the 21 started up top with me, a bunch of those cautions, so he kind of, I know he could kind of see where I was going and how I was taking off on those green flags. I know we came close a couple times, but if we did get bumped a little bit, just got to make sure to take that next turn properly and get the good jump off of them.
All right. Well, congratulations. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
You're stealing my lines. I'm just going to go ahead and give you
I
a
am.
chance to shout out anyone that you like to. This is just a little segment, but hey, if you got any sponsors, family, friends, dogs, anyone you want to shout out.
I no sponsors. I guess shout out to my dog Abby.
Oh. Now you can talk, Seth. I believe in you.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad I have your permission. So, yeah, congratulations on your victory here tonight. Hopefully you can carry that momentum into next week.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, I've got to banish you out. There we go.
You were rude to our second place finisher, so I didn't feel bad taking your line.
All right, yeah, I don't blame you. But all right, that race. It was more or less just a battle of attrition almost.
And it's typical short track.
Next week is probably going to be much the same, since next week is ironically South Boston. Another tight race.
I mean, I remember broadcasting a race just not too long ago for the other modified series that Flatout ran. South Boston, surprisingly enough, is one of those tracks where you would expect it to have a lot of cautions, but it really wasn't. It was actually you could get in some really good green flag racing, and that you just asked. Yeah, you're right. There is a second groove that you can actually use there at South Boston as well.
Absolutely, and that's the thing with South Boston. It's the same as almost a Bullring, and my apologies. It's the same as a Bullring. Whenever something happens, it's big because there's such a small track and there's so little room. One of these cars goes sideways, and heck, you've got a pileup of 3 or 4 cars.
And a big reason for that is because a lot of these short tracks have the walls separating the track from pit road, so you end up having something happen on the straightaway. It completely blocks up the track, especially if a car is facing 90 degrees. But another similarity between Bullring and South Boston next week, really it's a track that's all about track position, so you're going to see a lot of drivers out there prior to the race, like we heard tonight. Tehan said he was out there during practice doing qualifying runs, making sure that he was going to get a good qualifying spot. I think we're going to see a lot of drivers utilize that strategy next week, try and start up front for South Boston, because it's going to be all about track position.
Absolutely, because there's obviously some who just try not to qualify and stay in the back, just hoping to avoid wrecks. But if this is any case, I mean, it's really just grab what you can get and take. Also, it would be interesting to see if any hurt feelings carry over next weekend, because obviously we didn't get a chance to talk to Tyler or Ryan, because they unfortunately both left the server before we got a chance to talk to them. But, I mean, unsure how they feel about the whole thing. And everyone, at least everyone in the top 5, kind of noticed how Ryan was just sending it at the end of it.
But let's remember 2 things. Number 1, yeah, short tracks do breed short tempers, but you alluded to it already. It's a 10-race schedule. You can't really afford to go out there and make a point, take a chance of, making your point and coming away with a bad finish. With it only being 10 races, you got to be as consistent as possible every single week if you're going to be in the hunt for that championship at season's end. Now, if you had a 36-race schedule, okay, maybe you can go out there and prove a point at some time, but not right now with it just being a limited number of races.
It'd just be interesting to see later in the race, or at least later in the series, just seeing how tempers progress. Because here's the thing, you can take it week in and week out about just being hit, but there gets to a certain point where you just say, all right, enough's enough.
Well, bear in mind too, let's say, for instance, the incident we saw here tonight between the 40 and the 77, one of them could be out of championship contention with 2 races remaining, the season finale, and the other one could be in championship contention. Payback could come back in that finale and could take someone out of a championship for a move they made here in the first race of the season.
It's the little things you don't expect.
It is the little things. We live for controversy.
But next week we'll be back for South Boston. Most likely will be a different cast here, since unfortunately most of them are on vacation this week. Seth,
you pulled an East Coaster out. You pulled an East Coaster out of bed.
I know, my apologies. Well, at least you got an entertaining race out of it. I believe that's all for us.
Definitely did. It's the first time I've ever seen a race at Bullring. It was an experience.
You should see a demolition derby at the Bullring. But next week we're going to be returning back
I'm
to
surprised I
South.
didn't see any Matadors out there though.
Yeah, it's surprising. There wasn't even one bull paint scheme. I expected like one little red bull paint scheme, but other than that, but that's going to be
I'm
all from us
expecting to, see some hot tamales being sold in the stands, hear a little Spanish music. Anyway,
But that's going to be all from us tonight. Hopefully next weekend we'll continue without technical difficulties, a little bit more smoothly.
hopefully yes.
But we thank you all for watching. And I don't have the button ready to end the broadcast. My apologies.
I do.
Oh, do you? Nope, you're just hiding the screen.
Yes.